My earliest memory is riding in my grandfather's boat, arm over the side, hand in the spray. I've spent much of the rest of my life chasing this feeling. All of that has led to this, the wooden boat experience. Hello, everybody. Give me a little thumbs up or something. There's Speckles. He just jumped up because I said something. In the chat, if you can hear me okay. It's been a while since I've done this, so I don't want to screw it up. Anybody? Okay, Wes gives me a thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, welcome everybody to season 3. And there's Brittany and David. Oh, a little loud here, he said. Oh, it's loud. He's at a football game. Okay, so we are live. They're up there. Got to get right here. There's the new logo that we're going to talk about in a second. So I am happy to be back, and we are ready to talk about season 3. So let's get right to it. Let me pull up the plans. Okay, season 3 plans. First, what is the WBE? Well, it's no longer what it was, and I'm just going to read this part. A way to share what I was doing, because now it's a community of people who love wooden boats, and I see that because I see people out and about all the time. I just saw somebody about a half an hour ago. Friends of mine were at dinner outside, and I walked past, and they said hi, and they said, hey, this guy right here watches your, they called it a vlog, and I guess that's what it is. So that was pretty cool. So I constantly meet people now that are watching the WBE, which is really neat. And it's no longer about growth on YouTube, and we're going to talk about that, or growth for just the sake of growth, because that doesn't always lead to a good place. But instead, it's about the growth of the WBE community and learning and sharing about wooden boats. I mean, I teach you guys things, but I also learn things from people all the time. So now let's look at, let me just switch here quick. Here's the new logo. Thanks to Kenny and Brittany for working on this. And you can see it says the Wooden Boat Experience at the top. Season 3, and the 3 is really big, and it has the GlassGoat and the YouTube thing down at the bottom. And that is unbeknownst right there. So that's pretty cool. Now we're got to get back transition here. Okay, back to the plans. So that was the new logo, and the stickers will be coming very soon. So anybody on Patreon will be getting a sticker pretty soon, and I'll have some in my pocket. So if you see me soon, say something, and maybe you'll get a sticker. And new merchandise. So I got to switch us to myself here. So a couple new things I've been working on. One is, so you guys remember that I got the new sewing machine. So here's one of the first things. Let me get it here. You guys can see it okay. It's a little pennant. Now this one's not very big, but it's got like the sticker, the limited edition sticker from last year. But this also could be made full size into a burgee. So that's something we're working on right now. This isn't on the store or anything yet, but it's going to be soon, or it's going to be part of Patreon. We'll see. And also, only a couple people have seen this. So here it is sewn onto a sweatshirt, and this is actually applied and sewn on a separate piece, but it's also got this new thing, GlassGoat authentic little, this is really hard to do, it's backwards. These are sewn on there on the shoulder, and then on the other sleeve, right on the cuff, which is pretty neat. I'm doing a terrible job of showing you guys, but it's got our little B logo, and it says GlassGoat authentic, so you know it's not a copy from overseas like that would happen. Let's transition back to the plans. So the new merchandise isn't on the store yet because we're still in the prototype stages. What you saw there was prototypes, but we are working on that. And there's going to be some other things too. Who even knows yet? Unbeknownst, if you aren't on Patreon, you haven't heard much about Unbeknownst, but let me tell you a little bit about what happened this summer. So during the summer, we worked on painting. So the top sides are all painted. The bottom is all painted. The boot stripe is all painted. That's all done and ready to go. The engine is sitting in Unbeknownst. And thanks, Gary Green, for helping with that. And we also set it, when Gary was here, we set it on the trailer, pulled it out of the boat shed, and that's how we were able to get the engine into Unbeknownst. We pulled the boat out. we brought the motor in, we lifted it up, and then we drove the boat back underneath it. The future work on that is I'm really hoping to water test it, even though it's not going to be done, but mechanically it'll be together. I'm hoping that that happens before winter. We'll see. I can't promise that. There's so many things going on here all the time. It's really hard to make promises. I don't see anybody in the chat. Just make sure, am I still okay here? Somebody give me a little okay or loud and clear, because nothing's happening there. Usually something happens. Anybody? I don't want to leave you guys hanging, but okay. Brittany says all good. Okay, thank you, Brett. Okay, so back to, yeah, like I said, unbeknownst, hoping to drop it in the water and check out the mechanicals before I do everything else. But I've actually expanded what I want to do to unbeknownst, including a full interior. And I've seen a lot of boats this summer, and I want to do some of those same things. I've got the sewing machine. I've got the stuff. Might as well make it perfect while I'm doing it. Compromise. Okay, I'll go back to me. Sorry about that. So on compromise, you guys don't need to be able to read this. I can. What I've done this summer was, and the compromise is the lineman, of course, that you guys have seen before. A lot of mechanical work happened this summer. Luckily, Gary Green, when he was here, went out and got the carb straightened around and told me what to do for one last little adjustment on the carb. So that's good. So it's working good. There's no hesitation anymore. But I also had to replace the water pump, the starter. During the June, before it went in, I stripped all the decks down and put 7 coats of varnish on. And I used the Total Boat Lust. That was the first time I've used it. And man, did it work really good. It looks super still. And it's been sitting out all summer in the sun with no cover. And it really looks great still. We also painted the top sides and 2 coats of paint on the bottom. And a bunch of other little stuff. But I also, the first project I did with the sewing machine was make a new soft top for it. So the top that it had before that was blue is now gray. So that's what's happened with Compromise. And it's a work in progress. I think it's year 4 right now of working on it, and we're actually going to pull it out of the water in a couple weeks. When we do that, we're going to pull the motor out of it. There's nothing wrong with the motor, but I'm going to pull it out because there's a couple things I want to do. I need to replace a few ribs, and I need to scarf in a section of the engine stringer on one side, which has gotten a little punky on top. And much easier to do without the engine in the way. And that way I can also paint the engine, because the engine is not, part of it's not even painted. I think the block was changed one time. It's just bare. So I don't like it like that. What's wrong, Spec? You're making a little noise back there, buddy. Okay, so that's Compromise right now. Still in the water, being used all the time. Skied behind it the other day. Awesome. Now the nuts and bolts of season 3. So I got to pull my chair up for this one. The truth about YouTube. Okay, so you'll notice that I don't know how many of you know about the chat, but when you do the chat, there's something called Super Chat. And David Daly was nice enough to give me some Super Chats over time when we were doing lives before. And Super Chats are how you can make money on a live stream. I didn't know much about them when I signed up for it. It's not really much you have to do. You get to a certain point and you're allowed to do Super Chats. So I think I got about $110 in Super Chats. And then, of course, you see that some of my videos have ads on it. You've seen that before. I don't do a lot of them, but there are some ads on some of the videos. And I can tell you that in the whole time I've been on YouTube, and including $110 in Super Chats, I got a check so far for $118. So ads are not worth it. And obviously they are taking more than half of the Super Chat money. So there are going to be no more ads, only sponsorships. So the sponsorships will be built into the video. It might be somebody like Total Boat is always, I'm sure you guys are aware that Total Boat gives me things to use them and to try them out. You can be assured that if I don't like the product, I am not going to endorse it, but I seldom get something from Total Boat that I'm not really thrilled with. When I do get something that I'm not thrilled with, and after I use it and try it and I'm not thrilled with it for some reason, I will tell you about that. There's a couple of items that I'm going to tell you about this season that I tried that it's kind of a long-term thing, see how they work, and I will tell you about that. So that'll be coming up this season. I got to make sure I don't forget about a couple other things. Oh, so forget the super chats. Please don't do them. Don't give me money through the chat. You're giving YouTube more than you're giving me. It's just a waste. You can, though, do, and let me get here so I can show you. You can do PayPal. So we have a thing set up with, if you go to paypal.me/woodenboatexperience, you can donate money there if you want to instead of a super chat, and much more of it is going to go to me. They only take a little bit of a percentage. It's very small. And you can see in this, I don't know if you can see the arrow I'm showing you, but there's a red arrow there, and there's a little PayPal logo, and this is the GlassGoat, our homepage. You can click on that and it'll take you right to it. Okay, so that's about PayPal and about the super chats. I got to pull this back up on my side so I can see, and don't forget what I'm going to tell you. And as far as YouTube, I don't care what happens with YouTube as far as subscribers, as far as how many people watch the video, all those things. I really don't care. Whatever happens, happens. I am not going to chase the algorithm anymore. I did some of that previously. It's why I did some of the videos the length that I did them. It's why I did certain things as far as the thumbnails. None of that. I don't care. I only care about Patreon and the people that are watching. So if you do get on Patreon, you're going to see a lot more of this channel than you're going to see on YouTube, and you're going to see it the same week. So let me make sure I didn't skip anything before I get to that. So yeah, now we're to Patreon. So on Patreon, we got rid of the $1 tier. If you are already a $1 tier member, you're still in there. It just doesn't list anymore. There's $2, $5, $10, and $20 is what's on there. We changed some of the premiums. I'm not telling you have to get on Patreon. You can watch for free when they come up. You know, either way, it's fine with me. I like what I'm doing because Total Boat helps me out, and I do have Patreon members. I'm very happy with what's going on. I'd love for Patreon to grow, but I'm still making the videos. I'm not going to stop making the videos if y'all don't sign up for Patreon. What you get on Patreon is when you sign up for a tier, there's certain things that you get. You're going to get the videos the same week they're made. You're going to get content that nobody else ever sees. I do that every week. There's stuff on there, updates, different things. Nobody ever sees that except Patreon members. You're also going to get bonus videos that are never seen by anybody else, and discounts on stuff that you buy from me. There'll be a thing going out to Patreon members soon that's a discount code for anything that they buy. Part of the reason that I'm doing this is to avoid burnout. So when I was trying to chase the algorithm, make sure that every week I did a video, and I did 42 straight weeks last year, I think you guys were quite aware at the end of the year last year for the last month and a half or so that I was really burned out. And that's why I did the live stream hybrid, which I don't think we're going to do that anymore. If we do a live stream normally, unless it's really windy and I can't do it in the boat shed, it won't happen here, like where we are right now. It'll happen out in the boat shed or in the other skiff shed in the studio. So that's going to be really good to do that way. It gives me some flexibility. Sorry, I'm looking to the side, but I'm reading. I have two screens up here, and what I'm showing you guys, and then what else I can look at. So the flexibility. I want to be willing to be able to change things and adjust things if it's not working for me or not working for you. If you guys tell me, oh, like a lot of people told me they didn't like the live stream hybrid. Okay, we're not going to do that anymore. Unless there's some special thing that I want to do it, some special reason, but generally it's not going to happen. So let me pull something up and show you guys, make sure I don't skip anything here. Oh, one more thing with Patreon. The Patreon logo is on the our homepage. It's right here where this red arrow is, and that you can click on that. It takes you right to Patreon, or you can just type this thing in that's down below, patreon.com/GlassGoat. So that's a story on that. I'm not going to keep harping on that. Let's go to the schedule. All right, here it is. So this is what's going to happen. So on the 12th, I guess that was Monday or Sunday. On the 12th, Patreon members got episode 1. And now we're on the 17th. On the 17th, Patreon members are getting a live stream. But so is everybody. You know, everybody's getting a live stream. But the public is going to see episode 1 tonight. That's going to come right after this. I'm going to make episode 1 public instead of being unlisted, and you guys will be able to see it. And then tomorrow there'll be a recording of this thing for anybody that is public, that not on Patreon, that wants to watch this, or Patreon members can watch this. It's just going to be live. It's going to be up there for everybody, the recording of this. Next week, Patreon members will get episode number 2. The public won't get a video next week, and that's because there's going to be a delay from now on. On the 30th, Patreon members get episode number 3. The public gets episode number 2. The next week, Patreon is going to get some kind of a surprise. Don't know what it is, whether it's a special video that nobody else sees or whatever. Public gets no video. And then the next week is the live update, which is like tonight but in the boat shed. The public will get on Friday the live recording that will come out. So you can see that there's a pattern here. There's going to be 2 videos. I'm going to go back to me. So there's going to be 2 videos. There's going to be at first a live stream, then 2 videos, and then a week without anything. If you're on Patreon, you're going to be getting stuff constantly. There aren't going to be weeks without things. You always get updates. It might be images during the week. It might be a short video. It might be a live thing. I don't know what it is yet. I'm not going to make any promises, but you're going to get something. You're not going to be left hanging if you're on Patreon. So back to this, you can see I've got it through 10/26. So October 26th, this is what I'm going to do, and you'll see this stuff on Patreon members. We'll see it every week. The public will get it with what the green stuff here is what the public is going to get. So there is how that's going to work. After that, I'm going to reevaluate. I'm going to do some, put out some, ask some questions and see what people think about how it's working, and then I'll go from there. One more thing. What videos did I shoot this summer that have not been made yet? Well, you're going to see tonight's video, episode 1, that was shot this summer in Grand Island, New York. But these are all videos that have been shot this summer. They're not edited yet, but they're all in the can, as they say. The boat show in Skinny Atlas, the boat show in Grand Island, Alex Bay, the Antique Boat Museum boat show, a small boat show in Chippewa Bay, updates on the Lyman, all the repairs that went on. The steamboats at the Antique Boat Museum, this is going to be a really, really cool video. It was so much fun. I swear I wanted to make a steamboat the day I was there. As soon as I rode in one, it was unbelievable. When Gary Green visited, thanks Gary, by the way, and worked on Unbeknownst and also on Compromised, there's going to be a video about that. In Chippewa Bay, we had a race, kind of a reenactment of the Gold Cup, Thousand Island Cup. There was some cool boats in there. A video about St. Lawrence skiffs. I went out and rode with another guy in an 1891 skiff that is just perfect still. It hasn't been restored. It's just the way it was. It's amazing. And also a summer review. I shot a lot of video this summer. So there's tons of different stuff. Now, some of those videos might only go to Patreon members. Some will go to the public. Some may be delayed till next summer. Patreon members will get them now, but they might not be up till next summer. Because I'm hoping to not have a big gap next summer if I can save some videos and run them to the public during the summertime. One more thing on the plans. I missed something here. Let me see. Double check. Oh, thank you. So we talked about flexibility, so the next thing is thank you. So a big thank you to Total Boat and to Patreon members. If it weren't for Total Boat providing me with materials and Patreon members for doing what they do, I probably wouldn't be doing this anymore because it takes an incredible amount of time. It's 12 to 18 hours a week just to edit for a video, and that's why I got burned out. So it wasn't sustainable. So the next people I want to thank, Gary Green has been super helpful. I talk to him on the phone all the time. David Daly was here recently. He's been super helpful with things. John, that's a long story. You might see a video about John's boat in here too, but I see John quite regularly when he's here if he would stay in the Thousand Islands instead of leaving. Jim and Jimmy Grant, super helpful on the phone, and I'm going to see them this winter, I hope. And apologies to anyone I don't mention about the thank yous. And I really mean that. Apologies if I forget I meet a lot of people now because of this, and it's really hard to keep it straight in your mind. I mean, in the last week, I think at least 4 people have come up to me in places and say that they watch the WBE. So to keep it all straight, it's really tough. Somebody was here the other day that stopped by that I had talked to at a show. And a couple, let me put these people back up. So those who have visited and send things, I mean, Michael Baker, Steve was here. People that send things to me, Howard and Cheryl that I met from episode 2, Tom that lives close by. I mean, just a big thanks to them. And I want to say a special thanks to my friend Jay Benton. So Jay Benton, you guys have seen Jay before. He has an island out here, and he has some pretty cool boats that we've been in on the channel. And if it weren't for Jay selling me the Lyman, literally talking me into buying the Lyman in the first place, I would not be doing this. The WB wouldn't exist if I hadn't gotten the Lyman. I always wanted to have a wooden boat, but I couldn't have done it. And Jay's the one that got me started, and who would have known that now, well, I have a number of them. Let's not go into that. I don't want to get in trouble. So that's what's going on here at the WBE. And if anybody has any questions, throw them up in the chat right now. And it would be great if I could answer a couple people's questions while we're live. I'm going to look through and see if there's anything right here. People have just been listening. Probably weren't ready for a question. Ted looks like he's going to like the steam. Steamboats were just so cool. I'm telling you, I just wanted to build one the next day, and I came home and said something about it. And Mary said, don't even think about it. But, oh, they're just amazing. There's this one steamboat, this guy that had, so he not only has this cool steam engine, but these guys are all tool and die makers, and they're engineers. And he had this little thing he built on the back out of stainless steel so he could boil his own hamburger. I guess boiled hamburgers are big in Pennsylvania. So he had a hamburger boiling thing and melted the cheese right on top, and it baked the bun and did a baked potato on the side. And these were all apparatuses that were all cooked by steam. I mean, just so amazing. So I'm looking for, and they make so much noise too, which is really cool. What do you think, Spec? He's just laying back there. Can't see him. Come up here and say hi to people. He doesn't know how to jump up. We tell him not to jump up, and then I get on here live and I tell him to jump up. So if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'm probably gonna get off now. And oh yeah, Brittany was talking about the Garwood ride from episode 1. Well, that's what you guys are about to see. Oh yeah, that's right. A big thanks to those guys, Randy and Heidi. The episode 1 is a ride in White Knuckles, which is a 22-foot Garwood Speedster with a 496 Mag HO Mercury inboard. And oh my goodness, that thing is just amazing. So I think I'm going to sign off. And this thing, the recording of this will be up tomorrow. And actually in a little while, I think it's just going to go up about instantly. And I'm going to go over and you can watch episode 1 because I'm going to make it public in about 5 minutes. So I'd like to thank everybody again. I'm really, really glad that you guys are here with me. And I will see you guys this season, and I'll start putting out the videos. I better get editing tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.